Thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to start today's class coming into a comfortable seated position. Maybe that is on the floor. Maybe you pull your back up against a wall or something for support. Maybe you're sitting on a block or a pillow. Your legs could be in crisscross applesauce, or maybe you can send them out long. Or just bend the knees and place the feet, soles of the feet on the floor. Wherever you're at, we want to keep our spine lengthened here, really lifting from the top of our head all the way towards the ceiling. Your hands can rest gently, maybe on your body or next to your body somewhere. And I invite you to close your eyes or maybe simply soften your gaze, letting your vision blur over today. We'll start to notice our breath, not changing it, just simply feeling the inhale, noticing the exhale. So we start to drop into our practice today. We'll start by coming into our breathing exercise right away, which is the deep belly breathing. This breath is in and out through the nose if it's available. It's a slow, long inhale and a slow, long exhale. And as you inhale, it's so big of an inhale that you imagine your belly filling like a balloon. Then as you exhale, all that air compresses, your balloon deflates, and we'll continue for this breathing exercise throughout our opening meditation today. Today we're going to talk about powerful emotions like fear, anxiety, jealousy, or other tough emotions that come into our lives. These emotions can be powerful teachers, guiding us towards growth and even just simple self-awareness. So today, let's explore a brief meditation to embrace these emotions as a learning tool. So we'll begin by turning into any emotion that is one of those strong, powerful emotions I just mentioned: fear, anger, jealousy, anxiety, or any other strong emotional feeling that usually can elicit a negative experience, feeling, or mental juxtaposition. Take a moment to simply acknowledge that emotion. So I will personally use fear as the emotion, but it's up to you to change that into any other emotion that speaks to you today. So silently say to yourself, I am whatever your emotion is. So for me, it is I am afraid. Allow yourself this moment, this breath, to fully experience what that feeling feels like in your body as you say those words. I am afraid. I am anxious. I'm jealous. I am angry. I am sad, depressed. Maybe noticing how it feels in your abdomen, your shoulders, your heart space, maybe even your jaw, the mental gymnastics that start to begin as you acknowledge, I am afraid, or etc. And then we'll begin to embrace that awareness. as we shift our perspective. So instead of saying, I am, take a breath and instead silently say, I feel fear, or I feel anxious, or I feel jealous. Notice the shift from I am to I feel. Taking it from a personal I am this thing into something that you experience, but is not core to you. Now say, I am aware of this feeling of fear or anxiety or jealousy. Experience this fullness, awareness, fully awareness. Observe fear from a place of this open-hearted awareness, or this emotion from your place of open-hearted awareness. But can you shift even further and welcome this emotion? Shifting again by saying, fear or anxiety is welcome. And imagine what it would feel like to welcome that emotion, like a vast ocean of awareness, embracing the waves of this emotion. We take this moment to bring our awareness and fear or that emotion into unity, silently affirming awareness and fear, or awareness in this emotion, are not separate. See if you can be curious. Feel the aliveness and the stillness of presence, connected to the all beings who experience the same emotion, which is all of us mostly. And then connect with compassion. As we start to draw this mental inquiry towards its conclusion, maybe take a moment to feel a motivation to reach out and connect with others compassionately who might be struggling with these same intense emotions right now. Remembering that fear, anger, jealousy, or any other of these strong emotions need not paralyze us, but instead they can propel us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and a transformation. We'll release our deep belly breath if we haven't already. We'll take a moment to offer ourselves a little bit of gratitude for taking time out of our busy day to take this few moments to connect with ourselves and bring an awareness to some powerful emotions. And as we move through our practice today, we remember that every stretch, every pose is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to connect with the wisdom that life offers. As you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll flutter the eyes open. And let's start to add some gentle movement into our practice. Let's start by Coming onto hands and knees in a tabletop pose. And we'll set up from our tabletop pose, taking our knees just a little bit wider than hip distance and the toes come together. If you like using a block under your hips, maybe bringing a block back under between your feet. And as we exhale, we're gonna sink the hips back, coming into a wide-legged child's pose. The head starts to dangle between the arms. Maybe it rests on the floor, maybe it rests on a block, or maybe it simply dangles between the arms. Take a few of those deep belly breaths, allowing yourself to settle in here. Beautiful job. As we inhale, we'll start to lift up about halfway. And then we're going to walk our hands over to the right side of our space and sink into our child's pose again, adding this beautiful side stretch along the left side of the rib cage. Exhale to begin to come over to the opposite side. Sinking it back in, noticing how the stretch feels along the right rib cage. Inhale, come back through center, the halfway lifted position. We're then going to take that left arm, thread it under the right arm, in between the body and the arm, and then start to sink your left shoulder down towards the mat. Your head could rest on the mat, or again, maybe on the block. As you take this child's twist. Opening up through the outer left shoulder. Inhale to come through that halfway lifted child's pose. And then let's thread the needle with the right arm, taking that right arm over to the left. Sinking right shoulder towards the mat as you sink the head towards the mat, towards the block, or let it dangle. Finding that full extension of your breath. Great job. Exhale to unwind. We'll come back through our tabletop, coming onto hands and knees. And then let's start to take a little bit of a cat and cow position. We'll drop the belly and lift the gaze, and then exhale round through the spine, tucking chin to chest. Take it at your own pace for just a few rounds. One or two more breaths. Feel free to take any additional movements that you might like here. Beautiful. We'll eventually end up back in our stillness tabletop position. And then let's start to bring the knees together and start to rise to standing on our knees. We're going to come into a hero's pose. So if you'd like to add props under your hips, maybe sliding that in between those legs and sitting back on towards your heels. Now you're welcome to keep your toes tucked. If you would like a stretch through the bottom of your feet, or you can bring them untucked if that feels better in toes, ankles, or anywhere else. Noticing how this feels in your body, making any adjustments. If anything's feeling tweaky, you can always just rest standing on your legs as well, or standing on your knees versus sitting back towards your heels, if that feels more appropriate in your body. We're going to grab something long and skinny. Maybe you have a yoga strap or a belt of a robe, or even just a long tube sock, anything that you can hold in between your hands That adds a little bit of distance. We're gonna take whatever prop we're choosing. We're gonna start with our hands about shoulder distance apart on the prop, and then start to lift it up, letting it come up and overhead. Reach it really up. And if feels like it's too close together, give your shoulders a little bit of space. If you feel like that would feel better. Alrighty, this is a pose that maybe you're familiar with from a class before. We're gonna start to actively pull our hands apart on the strap. Now, you're not gonna actually physically be pulling anything because it's a strap and it most likely won't give any give, but depending on what you're using. But we wanna feel like we're feeling that pull, even if we're not pulling and making any actual movement. Feeling that muscles, maybe they start to shake a little bit as you pull. And with our next exhale, we're gonna start to lower the hands, bending the elbows to the side. You can drop the strap in front of your face or behind your head, but come down to about shoulder height. And then with your slow inhale, let it come back up overhead. We'll take this about 3 to 4 times at your own pace. Noticing how that feels throughout your shoulders. Great job. Last time. Once you reach the top, release, keep the strap in between your hands, but give your shoulders a moment of break. And then we're going to take it a little wider on the strap. So you can take it as wide as you want on the strap. If you have a long strap, if you have a shorter strap, it might be just a little bit of short. And then as you're ready, let those arms float back overhead with that big old long strap in between your arms, almost like you're pulling your arms in opposite directions now. You can continue to pull on the strap if that feels good for you, noticing the subtle change as we move into a bigger arm position. And then with our next exhale, allow the right hand to start to come down towards the right side of your mat. Rainbow arcing and taking a nice stretch through the left rib cage. Great job. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, drop the left hand. Beautiful job. We'll come back through center. Exhale to release. We'll give our shoulders just a break for a minute as we come back sitting on our hips for just a moment longer. We're going to start by sending our legs out long in a seated staff and sitting up tall through the spine. Now you're always welcome to bring your hands back behind you for a little support here. And we're going to cross the right ankle over that left knee, letting the right knee fall out to the side and sitting up tall through the spine. We're flexing through our right ankle, pulling the toes back towards our right shin. And this might be a great stretch on that outer hip for you. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper though, maybe you start to bend that left leg, bringing the sole of the foot to the mat. And you can adjust how close your left foot is to your hips or how close your hands are to your hips to adjust where you feel that stretch in that right hip. We'll take just a few moments here, allowing this hip to start to open up, taking that beautiful breath. Great job. With your next exhale, send the left leg long. If you took the bend in the knee, capture the right foot and knee in your hand, in your elbows, or maybe grab that strap and wrap it around it. And we're going to lift the knee off the floor, our ankle off the knee, and start to rock our baby leg. Rocking it left to right. Noticing how that feels on that hip. And as always, when we take a rock the baby, if you'd like to bring that right hand outside on the floor, you are welcome to do that and start to roll to the outer edge of your hip or upper glute, giving yourself a really nice hip massage. Great job. We'll end this sequence with our heron pose, maybe using your hands, your strap on your foot or behind the leg. We start to send our leg at a 45-degree angle out in front of us. We engage our core to make sure that we're sitting up really straight. And if that means our leg isn't all the way at 45, but is more at a 25, that's great. We want to make sure the spine is straight though, wherever we're at. One last breath in your heron pose. You're always welcome to have a bend in that knee or push out through the heel to straighten it. With our exhale, we're going to release our leg from whatever's holding it, our hand or our strap, and then slowly let it come down to the mat. Great job. Feel free to roll or shake or wiggle your legs. And then as you're ready, we'll set up for side two. Left ankle comes in, flexing through left foot, letting left knee fall out to the side. Hands come behind you, really lengthening up through the spine. And then your choice to stay here or start to bend that right knee. Sole of the foot comes onto the floor. And adjusting the right foot or the hands closer to the hip to really engage through that left side. Now you might notice that the sides are a little different, so feel free to make any adjustments for the second side that it might need. Making sure to take those full, deep belly breaths throughout our practice today. Sometimes you can say that that is the judge of whether you're in a pose too far or not. You can't take a full, steady breath, and maybe try coming out of the pose until you can. Beautiful job. One last breath here. Exhale to release that extended leg if you bent it. We'll grab our foot and our knee, start to rock the baby leg, taking it left to right, noticing that hip mobility on the side. And then when you're ready, dropping that left hand if you want to. As always, you're welcome to continue just to rock it if that feels better for you. Or take that glute and hip stretch, massagey stretch. All righty, our next inhale comes into heron's pose, straightening the spine, leg extends in front of us at a 45-ish degree angle. Even if that means dropping it a little, you're doing great. All right, next breath, we release and lower. And then shake and wiggle. Beautiful job. All righty, from here, let's go ahead and come on up to standing. Coming into our mountain pose. We're gonna come back to grabbing that strap for our first option here. We're gonna take a moment to floss through the shoulders just a little bit. So we had the option of having our hands at shoulder distance earlier and then a little wider. We're gonna find that little wider position, but instead of the strap being in front of us, we're gonna bring the strap behind us. And you can really take it even a little bigger than you took it before. So it depends on what feels good for your shoulders. For more intensity, walk the hands closer together. For less intensity, further apart. We're gonna start with our hands down by our hips. And then as we inhale, we're gonna start to lift the strap as high up as we can. If we can come all the way up overhead, that's great. And that might mean you have to walk your hands a little further forward to do that. Finding your position. And if it doesn't feel good to take it all the way up overhead, just take it up as high as feels good today. Flossing through those shoulders. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Again, if you're feeling strong emotions, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're feeling fear, maybe you're feeling anger, use those emotions as a catalyst, a tool for your learning in this moment. Beautiful job. Last time. Exhale to release the strap, release your hands, bring everything out to the side. All right, let's take our legs a little wider than hip distance, the toes pointed out, the heels pointed in. We're gonna inhale, bring arms up to 5-pointed star. Exhale, sink it into your goddess squat, bending at the knees, cactusing the elbows. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess squat. Beautiful job. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Great job. From here, we're going to start to bend our left knee and crunch that left elbow down towards the knee. It can make contact or not. And then inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, bend the right knee, crunch the abdominals as you come down. Inhale, back up. Take this left to right, taking these ab side crunches, left to right. We don't want to power through these. We're not trying to get through them as quickly as we can. Instead, we want to imagine we're focusing on each muscle as it contracts, tightens, lowers, or lifts. Last time, balance out both sides. Join me in your 5-pointed star. Great job. Step it into mountain pose. Feel free to take any movement your body needs as we make our way to the top of our mat in mountain pose. Inhale, let arms float up and overhead, tall mountain. Exhale, hinging into your forward fold, let it rain down. Knees are bent. Take a moment to pause here, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, sway a little side to side. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Figure 7. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, take a slow roll, coming all the way up to standing. Once your shoulders arrive, let the arms circle back up and overhead. You can let the hands come together and touch, or take them wide, or take one to your hip or to a prop for support. So we're going to start to lean over to the right. Inhale, come back through center. Lean it over to the left. Back through center. And then let's draw the hands down through a prayer into our mountain pose. From here, let's step our right foot back into a warrior 2. So we're going to open the toes to the side. We're going to start to bend deeply through that front knee, even maybe allowing the hands to start to float up towards a T. We're engaging our core. We're pulling that belly button towards our spine. We're pulling our thighs towards each other, really making this active throughout our body. Beautiful warrior 2. With our next exhale, begin to look at your back foot. Take your back hand to your hip or down the back leg. And we'll start to take it into a reverse warrior, keeping a generous bend in that front knee. Inhale, bring it back through your warrior 2. And then let's drop our front hand to our front knee and start to circle that back hand overhead into a side angle pose. You could also drop your elbow to the knee or your hand onto a prop for your side angle, if that feels better for your practice. Great job. We're going to come back into our warrior 2. If we like to use props for a humble warrior, we're going to bring those props right about a 45-degree angle from that front knee. We'll meet in warrior two. Inhale to start to circle your arms up and overhead, and as you exhale, allow your torso to come inside that front leg into your humble warrior. Hands maybe resting on a prop, and your upper body is almost in a downward dog inside that front leg. Really noticing that left hip here. Great job. Inhale back to your warrior two, and then straighten that front leg and reverse your warrior. Exhale to release and step that back foot in. Mountain pose. Great job. Let's step left foot back, warrior two. Sink it in, take time to build that foundation. You're doing great. Next, exhale takes our gaze to the back foot, reverse warrior. Inhale through warrior two, side angle of choice. Inhale, warrior two. Set up for humble warrior. Meet warrior two. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, folding inside that front leg, humble warrior. Inhale, bringing it back into your warrior two. Exhale, step that back foot in. Beautiful job. All right, go ahead and come back into your mountain pose as we take a balance challenge here. Just to shake things up a little bit, work with that fear maybe even a little bit. Now you're welcome to have a prop nearby for support. You're also welcome to use a strap here for this one. We're going to come into our mountain pose. We're going to start to shift our weight over to the left leg and begin to lift our right knee. Now you can hold the knee with your hand or your strap. And then let's take some ankle circles with that lifted ankle. And then reverse them. If you're feeling wobbly at all, finding a spot on the floor that's not moving and looking at it as a focus. If you're feeling like you want to challenge yourself, maybe take that spot from the floor to the wall in front of you. All righty, go ahead and step that right foot down, take any movement you might need, bring the knee back up. All right, this time we're going to take that knee out to the right side. Keep your left hand on your hip on a prop or extend it out to the side. Great job, bring it back through center. We're going to take this into a big toe pose. So similar to that heron's pose, you can hold on your leg, your toes, your feet, your ankles, or you can use a strap. Shift the weight over to the left, begin to lift. Right toes off the ground, a little or a lot. Always welcome to keep a bend in the lifted knee or a bend, and definitely keep a bend in the standing. Beautiful. All right, one last breath here. Now let's open that leg out to the right side. And you don't have to be as high as me. You can have that foot lower, anywhere that feels good. Great job. Bring it back through center. Exhale to release. Take a moment, shake and wiggle, anything you might need. Inhale, lift left leg. When you're ready, take those ankle circles. Reverse it. Great job. Exhale to release. When you're ready, inhale to bring it back up. This time we're going to take it out to the left. Bring it back through center. Big toe pose, hold behind the leg, the foot. Grab your strap, send the leg out long in front of you. Find a spot to stare at. If you're feeling fear at all, maybe explore those strong emotions. All right, take it out to the left. Bring it back through center. Exhale to release. Great job. Maybe give yourself a good pat on the back. That was some tough work there. And then let's take our feet into a wide-legged position. Nice, big, wide position. Inhale, circle arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge and forward. Beautiful job. Inhale, halfway lift. Engage through the core. Inhale, full lift, 5-pointed star. And then let's walk the feet in just a little bit. So they're still wide, but not as wide. And as we exhale, we're going to sink down into a deep squat, as deep as feels good today. So you can come into about a half squat if that's where you're at. You can go a little bit deeper. Maybe you add a couple of props under your hips as a support. Maybe you come all the way down into a deep squat. Wherever you're at in your squat, take a moment here to keep the spine tall. Beautiful job. With our exhale, we're going to drop our hands towards the floor, coming into our tabletop. And then let's drop our elbows right where our hands are. You can let your elbows come parallel to each other, your arms, or you could bring the fingers to interlace. Keeping your hips up high, begin to walk your knees back and sink your forehead down. So similar to child's pose, but this is a puppy pose. We're stretching just a little bit deeper through the arms and side body here. Maybe noticing it in the shoulders even. Great job. Begin to peel your nose towards your hands and then guide yourself onto your belly into a Sphinx pose. You keep those hands right where they are or separate them, taking them a little bit wider, enjoying this generous back bend here. Maybe you look over the right shoulder and then over the left shoulder. Come back through center. With our exhale, we're going to unwind the spine, taking the forehead down towards the mat. We're going to take the arms out to a Y or to the corners of your mat. We're going to take the legs out to the corners of your mat. And with our inhale, we're going to start to peel the forehead, peel the shoulders, maybe start to lift the hands, coming into a Superman stretch. And if you'd like, you can even lift the toes. Beautiful job. One last breath here. Exhale to release. Inhale to push up to your tabletop. And then come to stand on your knees once more. If you like to use blocks for camel pose, you're welcome to bring them back by your hip heels. Standing on your toes or standing on your knees, tucking your toes. We lift the spine straight. We're going to start by bringing our hands and letting them float overhead. As we rest here, start to allow your gaze to come to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Your next inhale, maybe the gaze comes back between the hands. Go ahead and push your hips forward and maybe even lean the torso back a little. Beautiful job. And this is a great option for camel pose. Inhale to bring your gaze back to the horizon. You can keep the hands there. Maybe you play with bringing your hands to your lower back, putting your fingertips in jean pockets, imaginary ones. Squeezing those elbows together. Whichever variation of camel you're choosing, we pull the hips forward. We start to lift the gaze to where the room meets the corner of the ceiling. And either staying there or maybe going a little deeper. Keeping hands on hips, lifted over the head, or begin to drop them towards your props or even your heels. We draw our hips forward, our chin up, squeezing shoulder blades together for this beautiful camel pose. Great job. Inhale to roll up to a straight spine. Lowering hands if they're lifted. And then let's come back into our seated position. But we're gonna take it into that wide leg. So just like our standing, I'm gonna take it as wide as feels good. Now you're always welcome to add a blanket or block under the knees. Press the heels away, pull the toes back. Whatever feels good for you here, maybe sitting up on a prop, even creating a little more space. Great job. Inhale, circle arms up. Exhale, bring your hands in front of you onto the mat or maybe onto a prop. And then we're gonna start to hinge from our hips as we walk our hands away from us a little or a lot. Coming into this wonderful wide-legged forward fold. Beautiful job. Walking hands back towards your hips. We're gonna take that right leg. We're gonna swing it all the way towards our left leg. Then we're gonna cross it over, bending the knee and setting the foot outside of that left knee. If that's too much for you, just bring it inside the knee. All right. We're gonna take a sage twist here. So we're gonna sit up really tall through our spine. We're gonna take our opposite hand. We're gonna start to capture that knee. Now you can hook it at the elbow, or you can take the elbow outside the knee, whichever feels better for your body. The right hand comes behind you on the floor or prop, pressing into it to really lengthen our spine here. And as we exhale, we twist towards that shoulder. Each inhale allows your spine to straighten and lift. Each exhale allows your body to soften and twist. Last breath here. Inhale to come through center. Uncross the leg. Take the left leg over the right, or find whatever variation that feels good for you as the sole of the foot is on the floor, the knee is bent towards the chest. You lengthen the spine on our inhale. Our exhale takes opposite elbow to the bent knee as we capture it and twist. Straightening the spine on our inhale, softening into the twist on our exhale. Exhale to unwind the spine. And then from here, let's send both legs out long. We'll start to bring a nice bend into the knees, curl the knees into the chest. And then roll yourself back onto your back into a ball shape. Take a moment to rock side to side, or maybe along the spine. Great job. Our next exhale drops the feet into a constructive rest at about hip distance apart. And letting the heels come up towards the hips. We're going to take one last ab exercise before we move into our complete cool down practice. So we'll take and bring our hands behind our head, fingers interlaced and elbows out wide, the back of the head resting in the hands. We're going to take some yogi bicycles here. So we have some options. This first option is to keep your feet on the floor, both of them. And as you inhale, lift the shoulders, lift the head, turn the right elbow, point it towards the left knee. Bring it back through center, set it down. Inhale up, take it to the opposite side. Back through center and down. Again, we're not trying to powerhouse through this. The slower, the better. The more controlled the muscles, the better. Our second option is to still keep the feet on the ground, but as you inhale to lift your shoulders and head, lift opposite knee, crunching it towards the elbow that you're twisting. Take it back through center, twist it to the opposite side. Now the knee and the elbow don't need to touch, it's more the crunching of the lower abdominals what we're adding here. And you can take this left to right. Now you're welcome to stay with either of those two first options, or for more engagement, starting with a lifted leg tabletop position and sending opposite leg out long. So wherever you're at with your yogi bicycles, from the feet to the floor or lifted, we'll take this for about 5 or 6 more reps. So take it at your own pace, really engaging through the core muscles. Noticing those obliques. Again, noticing any strong emotions that might flare up here. You're doing great. Last one on each side. Back through center, releasing the head, releasing the feet into a constructive rest. If you took the feet off the floor, go ahead and send the arms wide to a cactus or a T. Widen the feet to as wide as your mat, and then let both knees fall over to the right. Now you're welcome to stay here with the legs staggered and add maybe a block or a pillow between the legs. If you like to take a bind, you can hook that bottom foot over the top knee. And if it feels better for your body, maybe stacking the knees versus having staggered is always an option. And if anything doesn't feel right, ask yourself how you can make it feel better and simply choose to do that. Doing great. As we start to come into the cool down portion of our practice, maybe we come back into that deep belly breath as a focus for our mind. Inhale to bring the knees back through center, shifting to the other side, letting the knees fall, adding props, binds, or any other adjustments you'd like here. Falling back into that deep belly breath, noticing the way your breath allows your torso to expand like a balloon, and then retract. Noticing any lessons you might have learned throughout our practice today as you listen to your body, and any emotions that were brought to the surface. Inhale to come back through center. We'll inhale to curl the knees up towards the body. And we'll take one last rock from side to side. Beautiful job. We'll end today's practice coming into our comfortable resting position, whether that's a constructive rest, a corpse pose, or maybe a legs up the wall. We'll get settled in with any pillows, blankets, or maybe socks or sweaters if we're in a chillier space in our moment. But allow yourself to take any movements, any adjustments, so that you can start to come to a place where you can relax on command. Allow your breathing to be intentional and slow, deep. Maybe you allow your eyes to close, or maybe you simply soften your gaze. As in the quiet stillness of our mind, we begin to let our thoughts gently settle like falling leaves on a tranquil pond. Breathing in deeply, allow yourself to draw in the essence of this present moment. And exhale slowly, releasing any tension or worries that may linger within you. This is the beginning of your journey into mindfulness today, a practice of cultivating awareness and presence in every moment of your life. Mindfulness invites us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment or attachment. It is a state of open-hearted curiosity and acceptance, where we embrace each experience as it arises, whether it be a pleasant or unpleasant moment. In the realm of mindfulness, fear, anxiety, anger, and jealousy are not perceived as negative emotions, as an enemy to be conquered, but rather as a valuable teacher guiding us towards deeper understanding and growth. These strong emotions, really like all emotions, are a natural part of the human experience. They arise within us as a response, maybe to perceived threats or challenges. They're triggering psychological reactions that prepare us for action. Yet in our modern world, these emotions often manifest not as a response to immediate danger, but as a result of our thoughts and beliefs about the future. In cultivating mindfulness, we learn to recognize fear, jealousy, anxiety, anger, as it arises within us, acknowledging its presence with compassion and awareness. Instead of allowing these emotions to control us, instead we can choose to explore it with curiosity, asking ourselves, what is the root of this fear, jealousy, anger? What beliefs or assumptions am I holding on to that are fueling it? By shining this light of awareness on my emotions, we can begin to unravel their grip on our minds and our hearts. Fear can be a powerful catalyst for transformation. Jealousy, anger, all of these emotions can. If we are willing to engage with them mindfully, they invite us to step outside our comfort zones, to confront our limitations and beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. When we lean into our fears with courage, openness, we create the space for growth and expansion in our lives. Moreover, these emotions can serve as a compass, guiding us towards our deepest desires and passions. Often the things that we fear or that anger or cause jealousy are the very things that hold the greatest potential for our growth and fulfillment. By embracing our fears and moving towards them with intention, we unlock new pathways of possibility and discover the fullness of our potential. In the practice of mindfulness, we cultivate a sense of inner strength and resilience that allows us to navigate the uncertainties of life with grace and ease. We learn to trust in our ability to face whatever challenges may arise, knowing that we have the capacity to respond with wisdom and compassion in every moment. So as we continue on our journey of mindfulness, remember to embrace these emotions as a sacred teacher, guiding you towards deeper self-awareness and transformation. Allow yourself to lean into the discomfort, knowing that on the other side lies the freedom and expansiveness of your truest self. In this way, fear, jealousy, anxiety, anger become not an obstacle to be overcome, but instead a stepping stone on our path to awakening. Beautiful job today, meeting yourself and these intense emotions on the mat today. We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far. We'll allow whatever mental gymnastics are happening in this moment to be released. We start to come back into the present moment and feel that breath within us. And then as you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes, flutter the eyes open, and in your own time and in your own way, start to come up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a wonderful experience connecting with that emotion of your choice, and that you'll take this opportunity throughout the week ahead of you to engage with those emotions whenever they arise, asking yourself if you can dig a little deeper to the root as a teacher. Thank you so much. Have a great week and welcome in whatever emotions arise. Thank you. Until next time.